Hey everyone, so I've set up 2 mats today because I want to be able to show something from a couple of different angles. So last week we talked a little bit about standing spinal twist, and I realized that there's something that comes up actually in a lot of the standing twists that if you kind of look at it in one of the standing twists, you can kind of relate it to the other standing twists. So I'll show you what I mean. For example, even in Utkatasana, right? Even in Pavrita Utkatasana, oftentimes when we twist, we kind of tend to also like turn it into a forward bend. Let me show it from the front and I'll show you what I mean. So if I'm in Utkatasana and I'm twisting to the right side, there's a tendency to kind of like look back behind you and see what's going on behind you. But you see, what that's done is that's put my spine into a little bit of flexion, which actually limits the amount that I'm able to twist. So it is actually hindering the ability to twist a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to sort of pull my chest and my head back so that the crown of my head is kind of pointing the same direction as the center line of the mat or as the knees. So watch as I pull my head back in space. I'm going to try to get the whole spine, like all the way from the tailbone to the crown of the head, lined up along that midline from, say, like a bird's eye view. So if I was looking down at myself from above. So it might feel like we're doing more when we're bringing a little forward bend into it, but we're actually doing less of a twist because the forward bend is taking up the range of movement that's available to us. So similarly, in standing spinal twist, right, I find that when we go to twist, there's again often that tendency to want to look back behind you. Now, maybe that's an emotional tendency, or maybe that's because we feel like we have to see what's going on back there to know what's happening. But again, I want to work on pulling my head back so that my head is balancing over that midline of the mat. My head is actually just a little bit to the inside of my front big toe. And that actually increases the ability of my spine to rotate. When I bring a bunch of forward bend into it, right, when I'm slumped forward, I actually can't twist quite as much. So I'm hindering my own ability to twist when I do it that way. And then of course, right, Luna? I know, it's amazing. And then same, of course, in standing spinal twist, which I think is probably one of the bigger culprits. But if you're doing that in one, you're probably doing it in all 3. So in standing spinal twist, wherever the hand is, the hand can be inside, outside, it could be on a block. But whatever is happening there, again, I find there's a tendency to kind of look back behind you and see what's going on. So again, you want to lengthen the spine and try to get the head to hover almost to the inside of the front foot. So that's one way you can measure. You can look down and you can see that you've pulled the head back enough to sort of elongate the center line of the body with the center line of the mat, rather than kind of over here off to the side. Okay, so it can help, I find, to play with something like putting a belt right down the center so that you have kind of a point of reference, a visual point of reference to work with. And I hope that helps. So play with that a little bit in your practices this week, and we'll see you next week. Or please join me in one of my classes. Okay, bye. Meow, meow.